Good morning and a warm welcome. This is the great KBC and this is KBC News Check. My name is Ben Troy. Many thanks indeed for joining us. And for the next 1 hour or so, we will be looking at what has been happening in the country, and we can all attest that it has been a difficult couple of days, especially when you talk about schools unrest and safety in school. That is what we will be making or forming basis of our discussion this morning. And the state of school unrest in Kenya is at a boiling point. We do remember, unfortunately, we had 16 souls lost in the Utumishi Academy girls on Thursday night, and which has left 16 dead and nearly 80 injured. What we have currently is that 7 girls will be answering to that incident today, when they will be having their day in court. And something that is quite funny is that we have actually not learned from our past experiences. Currently, in this term alone, which has had, 1 month, we've had 100 unrests in schools, some of which have been deadly. Some students, like State House girls, just walked. The parents were called in and they just walked out. In some schools, a practical example, Kangaroo School and Kangaroo girls, they walked out, and even the Gaia girls also did that. We had a number of incidences that will be forming the basis of this discussion, and we would like you to be part of that discussion. What exactly is happening? I have a loaded panel this morning that will help us delve into that. Of course, we had Daraka Day yesterday, and we have a new month. A lot is in store. Many thanks indeed for joining us on the sign language interpretation. My colleague is Lucy Mwaura. Welcome. Allow me to rope in my panel of experts so that we may delve into this matter very quickly. I'll begin with my immediate left, where we have Bishop Hudson Ndenda. Bishop Hudson is a national chair, Church and Clergy Association. Karibu sana, Bishop.
Asante sana.
Just next to Bishop, we have Silas David Obut Hatsa. If I've gotten that right. He is the national chair, Parents Association. Karibu to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just next to him, we have Dr. Honorable Senator Gertrude Musuruve, who is a former senator, and also she is a lecturer at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Welcome, Sana Senator.
Thank you, Ben.
Good to see you, Flower.
Yeah, thank you. I'm even happy to come here.
Yes.
And communicate to you and Kenyans as well.
Yes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I know we had Madaraka Day yesterday, and we just need to present that just in one sentence each, so that we are done with that and focus solely on that. We cannot just assume we didn't have a national day yesterday. We had Madaraka Day yesterday that was celebrated for the first time in the North Frontier counties. Yeah, that is Wajir County. And I would like to pick your mind, Senator, in regards to what the president's said, just in just a few words.
Thank you, Ben, actually, for calling on me to comment on the celebrations of yesterday. And I want to say, Ben, I listened to the president's speech while he was there. Mm-hmm. And I was very keen to hear what he was going to say about the issue of cohesion, mm-hmm. about the issue of national unity, mm-hmm. about addressing the issue of the marginalized. And I want to say that it is commendable, mm-hmm. and I'm talking as a researcher, mm-hmm. I'm talking as a scholar with a very impartial mind and approach. When the president went there, mm-hmm. For the first time since Madaraka celebrations in 1963, mm-hmm. for the first time it was celebrated in Wajir. Now, being celebrated in Wajir is actually anchored in Article 10 of our Constitution, where we are ensuring that everyone is included. And I want to pick from the President's clarion call of leaving no one behind. And I actually remember, I'm quoting him, he said, and he even apologized in Wajir and said, Poleni sana for what happened, you've been marginalized, and this was not meant to happen. That is what he said. And I want to talk about the presidential proclamation yesterday, which really has a lot of impact, even nationally in our education system and all that. The president's proclamation, especially with inclusion of madrasa in the formal education system. Actually, he mentioned that madrasa Tuksi was going to be included in the education system formally. That is very good because one, it is going to really ensure that the education system is reviewed all the way from primary, teacher training, even to universities. Because Ben, if madrasa is going to be included formally in the education system, then we need to have teachers who are trained on how to teach teachers who are going to teach madrasa. We need to have also colleges prepared, preparedness of colleges on how to train teachers who are going to teach madrasa. Even universities, it means there's going to be an overhaul of the system, where we'll find also universities bringing in the issue of, in teacher training, the inclusion of madrasa, so that any teacher trained in a teacher's college, in the universities taking education, should be well versed on how to train teachers in teaching madrasas. So Ben, I'm also saying that when it comes to universities, universities have to ensure that they are delivering the industry, the demands of the industry. So if the demand of the industry is ensuring that madrasa should be taught, then it means that the universities should be prepared also to train teachers who are going to teach madrasa, Ben. And then also, the president talked about universities in Wajir. Now, having a university in Wajir will complement the other universities that are there, meaning that a number of students, even within that local community, will be trained. And then he also touched on the issue of stadium. The issue of stadium is very important, Ben, because not everyone will go the path of education. Not everyone will go through the university. So those who are not able to go through the university can go the talent way. That we have some Kenyans who are very good in football. There are some who are good in netball. There are some who are talented in various ways. So meaning that that will be an inclusive approach where no one is actually left behind. And also, let me just talk about teacher training. Kindly allow me to talk about teacher training.
Very quickly.
The president also talked about teacher training. But there are going to be other teacher trainings there to complement the teacher training that is already in Wajir. Now, this is a plus because it will be possible for the locals to be trained so that they're able to teach their own. And I want to tell you, as a former senator, Ben, at one point when I was in the education committee, there's a time when teachers came from Northeastern, and they said that they wanted transfer. There was a lot of mass transfer from Northeastern because they could not bear. But I want to say that this issue is going to be solved because in the teacher training colleges in Wajir, it means that the locals can be trained, and when the locals are trained, they can offer a service to the community. But I want to comment on that. Even if they're offering a service to the community, even if they're going to be teacher training colleges there, universities there, education standards should not be compromised.
All right. Thank you. That has been Senator Gertrude Musuruve. Gentlemen, allow me, we had Madaraka Day yesterday, and I'm giving you just 10 seconds each maybe to preempt the day since we had that national event. I will start with you, Silas.
I want to say that what my senator has said is what I followed yesterday from the president. And being the head of parties in the country, it was so interesting and so good that the president thought about inclusive education so that the people in Wajir, in Garissa, all over the country can get the kind of skills that their children require. So that was a very touching point, and we commend him for that. Thank you.
Bishop.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you could see the joy in the face of the people of Northeastern for the first time holding such a celebration in the country.
Yeah.
And the kind of development agenda the president has for the people of Northeastern. That means if we take that direction, this country, every corner will be able to experience some development. Talking of, he promised of a university, to build a university there that will uplift the education standards in that area. The stadium is also another thing, a game changer. And he talked of madrasa. I don't really want to talk about it right now because it is something that will have a discussion in this country. It will take a long discussion in this country because then they need to come out very clearly and tell Kenyans how will it work in Christian schools and all that. What will be the structure? Because I know that is going to be a discussion in this country. Thank you.
Thank you. And as we now prepare to start our discussion, allow me just to revisit some of the deadliest school fires in the Kenyan history. Of course, Changuli Secondary School tragedy in 2001 resulted into the deaths of 67 students, and it was something that really hit the nation. The cause was a deliberate arson. If you remember, two 16-year-olds used petrol to set their dome on fire and in the middle of the night. And let's look at the context. They say the act was driven by student grievances over national examination result cancellation and school arrears. Allow me to be a little bit quicker now. We are also looking at the Bombolulu Girls Secondary School in Kwale County, 1998. Casualties, 26 girls lost their lives. We had the very recent 2 years ago, Hillside and Rasha Academy in Nyeri, where 21 young boys died. We had St. Kizito Mixed Secondary School fire that was in July of 1991, and the 19 schoolgirls died. The cause was mass student riots and dormitory arson. Are you seeing a trend here? We had the Utumishi Girls Academy Senior School in Nakuru County, that is just a few days ago. 16 girls dead, 79 others injured. Cause deliberate student arson and was caught on CCTV. Moi Girls High School in Nairobi, September of 2017, casualty 10 girls lost their lives. Cause arson again. Let's look at some of the underlying infrastructure and safety challenges. Some have talked about, like a practical example was the Bombolulu Girls, which was attributed to overcrowding facilities and localized chemical and electrical fault. Well, we can keep going and going and going, but the question is, where exactly are we getting it wrong? Just Endarasha was less than 2 years ago. Now we have a cocktail of a number of issues, but let's point them out. We have also fortified our bench, and as said, we have a loaded bench here, and just next to Boaz, we are now joined by Dr. Harun Isaac Hassan. He's a policy analyst and is also a counseling psychologist. Karibu sana, Doc.
Thank you very much.
Just next to Senator, we have Boaz Waruku, who is from the Elimu Bora Working Group. Karibu sana. Good to see you again, Boaz.
And sorry for walking in late.
Walking late. All right. Karibuni sana. Karibuni sana. I would like each and everyone to give each and everyone of you about 10 seconds to just point out something in regards to the tragedy that led to the loss of 16 girls. I'll start with you, Boaz.
Thank you. First, condolences to the families that lost the 16 princesses that we had. Unfortunately, we cannot replace them. And because of that nature, I think we must only commit to do what is right so that we do not have to continue having statistics from causes that are preventable. And knowing that the nature of our state and the country, I think it's high time we went beyond just discussing the Constitution, the Basic Education Act, the rules, regulations, the manuals, because everything has been set. Where is the software that drives us to safeguard our young ones from such? That is the core of the matter for me today. And it is very unfortunate. We commiserate with the parents, the teachers, and the other learners. Even those who are in hospital, we wish them quick recovery.
Senator?
Thank you, Ben, for giving me an opportunity. First of all, I want to express my condolences to the families of, parents, families of the bereaved girls, the families that were too deeply affected, and I really feel for them. May God give them strength. And then I also want to pass my sympathy to the deeply affected parents also of the victims, the girls who did that. Because remember, they will also be traumatized, the children having done that. You know, we have to be empathetic and really see what is happening, because they live with a label that these are the parents of the murderers, these are the parents of the children who set the school ablaze and people died. So I want to express my condolences, and also to all Kenyans. I think this is a national issue that really is bringing us down, and we must empathize and sympathize with these families and see how exactly are we going to remedy situations like this. How are we going to avert situations like this in future, not only to the victims but also to the parents who are also affected. What mechanisms can we put in place to ensure that these things do not happen? And if they happen, what lessons do we learn? So I want to say, Ben, that from where I sit as a researcher, I want to say that there's need for research in education, in our education institutions, to see what exactly is causing this. Because it cannot happen that Nairobi girls a fire broke out. It cannot happen that Bombolulu a fire broke out. It cannot happen that in Utumishi Academy a fire broke out. What exactly is the genesis? We must do affirmative research and see what is the cause. Then after doing the affirmative research, we see how can we address this issue so that it is resolved once and for all, and so that it is minimized. And then I know that even as we're going to engage the discussion, I know the issues of chaplaincy will come in with regard to how we can resolve. I know the issue of counseling will come in with regard on how we can resolve the issue. So Ben, let me just stop here and contemplate also engaging in this discussion of chaplaincy, in this discussion of how can we also have counselors, and how can this be integrated in our education system, Ben? Because this is an issue we must address as a country. We cannot play the ostrich and just keep quiet. We must do something.
Yeah, so
may I suggest that we respect these girls, the 7. They remain suspects. They are not convicted. So we cannot say that they banned. We can't say that they did this. In fact, the system has failed them from my corner.
Actually, when I was beginning this conversation, I said that the 7 girls suspected of this arson will have their day in court today. That's what we expect.
And then when we just also analyze the words they said, they concur with what he's saying, that I'm expressing, you know, my sympathy and condolences to the deeply affected families. And then 2 deeply affected families, because we have 2 families here affected, those whose children have died, and then these families now who have a label that our girls are murderers, they have murdered and all that, they'll forever live with you know, that label. And that is how now we have to see how as Kenyans you can resolve this issue, so that the issue of counseling comes in, the issue of chaplaincy comes in, and we see a change in our education system, because there must be something that is deeply causing this. Thank you, Ben.
And Doc, what do these incidents tell us about the emotional and psychological state of our learners? The reason I'm asking this is because if you had the fires that I've mentioned, we didn't have the sophistication that we have now. We even have CCTV cameras. And we did see the CCTV cameras and the suspected students who are suspected of torching the dome. They knew very well that there are CCTV cameras, you know. But unfortunately, we saw very different things from what we were supposed to see on those CCTV cameras.
Ben, thank you very much. I think you will have asked me to start with celebrating the Madaraka Day.
Oh yes, yes. Very quickly.
We felt sense of belonging. We felt sense of recognition, and we felt that indeed Kenyans now recognize Northern Kenya as part and parcel of this country. It has been a very difficult situations to convince many people, including people who make some flimsy statements on the media, talking about Northern Kenya, how ni wa Somali, how waende kwao, you know, all those things have ended now, because we are in the heart of the Kenyan celebration, and we felt the president has taken a bold step in ensuring that northern Kenya people also feel that they belong there. Beside that, if we come to now the issue of our schools and our girls, I think before I go into the technical aspect of how those children needs to, or even the families or the country is addressed, we need to look at the key pillars of why certain issues often happen, and yet Kenyans are not sensitive towards it. Institutions of learning are institutions which produce the future generation of this country. And the future generation of this country have to be nurtured in a manner that will go into pick up a solid society that will prosper. And if that is not what we are not looking at, then all these stories of burnout, people dying, children being killed, families being affected emotionally, the country is being discussed. You know, it's not very good for a country news headline like this one to hit international media, because these are all aired in BBC, they are all aired in Al Jazeera, meaning then it is a national concern, it's a global concern, it's not a small thing. But Kenyans, we don't take it that way. We just take it as an event. If you guys have read, I've put an article some few days ago, immediately after the incident, on the situation. And to begin with, first we need to control the emotion of the people who are affected, the children and the parents. And some of the images that we show on our mainstream medias, including the CCTV, ideally that's a crime. And if we plan to take the media houses or anyone who is not, we are not talking about the mainstream media alone, we're talking about the digital and all these other things, who are spreading those images. Those have emotional effect, psychological trauma that will never heal on both the parents, the management of that institution, the children, and of course the country at large. How do you want to trust a child that you have taken to a school and has banned the whole school to another child who you think tomorrow will be part of that child? Everybody will think that if my child goes to that in any public institution or in any school, everybody now is saying, is it actually the right time to take our child to dormitory to go and learn? Or we find a way of teaching our children at home, because there are also systems where home learning is also encouraged. And some of the countries that we see these issues were happening before actually decided to move to a different model of learning. And therefore, first, we need to rethink how our educational learning system must be governed. Because when you go to most of our government schools, let me just call, they even bully the parents. Sometimes you go and take your child there, the principal has no regards for anyone. You want to see him as a parent and you want to have a conversation with him. Probably those conversations are some of the things that will have helped control these children. They bully you, the teachers don't talk to you, so we don't know where their frustration is coming from. Probably it's something that they need to discuss internally and understand why teachers must react to parents who are not the people behind their maybe frustration, because we only take our children there to make sure that they learn, and the learners will want teachers who will receive them well. So the important aspect of the whole issues that is going on revolves around good governance in the institution. Number two, Senator mentioned the issue of research. I'm also a researcher like her. I teach the university, and all of us, by virtue of that, we are researchers. But what I'm just saying is there are a lot of documentations, policy documents, recommendations that are in the shelves of these institutions. They are rarely implemented. If you can't implement basic things, you can never implement a research document findings that requires a thorough thinking. So there are basic policy documents that are within these institutions. They never follow it up. Just imagine an institution that is surrounded or run by our security forces. You know, some of the things are not things that we cannot comprehend in our mind, because that institution, Utumishi, belongs to the Kenya Police, National Police Service. That institution is managed beside the civilian teachers, overall managed by our security forces. If something like that can happen inside there, what about these schools which are in the villages, particularly those ones?
And this
in
was
our
setting an
homeland?
example, even State House girls.
Even State House girls, which is just at the doors of, and you know the name it carries. It's not a very simple name. State House is the symbol of this country,
Yes.
the powerhouse of this country. Therefore, if you are carrying that name, that institution is more privileged than any other institution. And therefore, I think something is not right. And I think one thing we need to take boldly is that our governance system within the schools must be managed well, and heads must roll.
Yeah.
If you are not interested in working in an institution and you think it is not giving you what you need, please just walk out instead of damaging our children and instead of causing other
Ben,
crises.
Yeah.
Ben, I'm really grateful for what he's saying, but springing from a teaching background, you know, apart from being a lecturer, I'm really a trained teacher, you know, trained at diploma level, trained at university level. And I can say before the camera that when it comes to success of a child in a school, the tripartite relationship of the teacher, parents, and the child is very important. And I want to say that as a trained teacher, there's no teacher who will wish a parent away. There's no teacher who will refuse to talk to a parent. In any case, there's usually a board. In every school, there's a board that governs how things go on. And when children are in discipline, the children go to the board. But I want to tell you, and I want to say without a doubt, that there are some parents, when they're told about their children's in discipline, they play the ostrich. They blame the teachers. When they're told your child has done this and that, sometimes they storm a school and they want to even attack teachers. So I want to say that there's no school, there's no teacher who will not want to listen to the parents, because teachers are trained to mold characters. But I want to say again, the children who come from their home background with a mentality that things have to go my way. A school is a preparatory unit that prepares children to take up structure, to be disciplined, and to become leaders at the end of the day. And even these leaders who are doing well or bad, they came from a school. Some leaders were stubborn, some leaders were disciplined, and sometimes we see it, even from the way they behave. Then I want to say, Ben, I was a board member at State House Girls, and we had a situation where some children wanted to have their way. And when teachers, call the parents, sometimes parents even supported their own children. So sometimes you'll find that the school says, when you're coming to school, there's no carrying food from home, there's no carrying this, but there are some parents who would sneak food into the bags of their children. So I want to say that when it comes to the school arrangement, we also have peer influence that comes in, but teachers have an impartial duty of ensuring that they're imparting education on the learners, they're doing their best. But they cannot succeed without the help of the parents. They cannot succeed without the collaboration of the children as well. It's a tripartite relationship.
All right. Still, let's build on that, Silas. The role of parents. And I do remember Bombolulu Girls Secondary School, the fire, 26 girls lost their lives, unfortunately. And I remember this because I was in high school. I was in Form 3 in 98. And I remember when we used to have visiting days, when this tragedy happens, when my parents came and my brothers, they really wanted to know a lot about the safety of our dormitories and stuff. The good thing is that my elder brother had been in the same school a couple of years ahead of me. We did have, after the Endarasha fire tragedy, I do remember there was an audit, a security audit, and then that came up with a raft of measures, which include classroom features, windows must have grills and must be easily opened, door specification, classrooms. But all this, where are parents to ensure that these things are there? Because we cannot expect the government to do all that. And what is the role of parents in parenting a child, especially who is in school?
Thank you. First of all, let me send my condolences to the parents of those that lost their children. And they even say poorly to those that have their children admitted, and even the parents whose children escaped narrowly from that inferno. I'll begin by saying something very interesting, because if you looked at the building in that school where the fire began from, actually you see that kind of height. And I was imagining that, supposing in that building we had grade 7, 8, and 9, and then grade 10 children who are still babies. You remember when the CBS came in, the junior school came in, there was that insistence, there was that kind of advocating that we have the junior school domiciled in the what? In the secondary school.
Yeah.
Now take that kind of situation and imagine that those children were there. How many could we be talking about right now? Seeing that those are babies from there. Secondly, I want to say that when you have tragedies in this country, be they in schools or outside, we as Kenyans, we should learn how to approach them. Let us not approach them in a form of anger, form of pointing fingers to people, form of calling for the scenario of the CS and the PS. You know, the CS and the PS are human beings. They are parents. Actually, they are shedding tears inside them that this has happened.
Yeah.
And here we are saying that they should go and resign. They should go home. We should understand that they are parents. They are feeling like any other Kenyan. They are also having that pressure inside that they even imagine that supposing our own children were there, what would have happened? I chaired the parents' association, and my question was that I have my girl in grade 10. Supposing she was in that dormitory, what would I have said about myself? So the approach matters. Now, quickly, what I want to look at is this, that parents don't live in schools. And I want to insist this. Let us not always point fingers at parents. Parents are at home. Why is it that these children are not burning houses at home? They are burning schools where the teachers are. Do the parents live in schools? They don't. The CS and the PS, the president, the government does not live in school. The government you have in schools are the teachers and the learners, the non-teaching staff within the compound of the school. So should anything happen in any given school, first of all, let's begin with those people, asking them what happened. But let's not go out and say now, the CS must resign, the PS must resign, the government must go. When the government goes and the PS and the CS resigns, now what's with this case? I come to parents. Parents are stakeholders, key stakeholders in the education sector. Parents own schools. They are the factories that manufacture children. They give them to the teachers in the schools. When the issues like this ones are happening right now, I would say that parents should be put on the front line in these matters. But find the other things are going on. Right now, the government is sorting out these things, working, doing investigations, all that. Where are the parents? But the blame is going on what? On parents. We do positive parenting at home. And we send children with that kind of mentality to go to school, do what's right. So what happens within the school compound is very interesting. Like now, for instance, if you follow what was in the media yesterday, here they are saying these children banned the school because their neighboring school had gone on strike. Where are the parents coming in that one? Are they there? Did the parents go on strike? They are not saying that we are banning the school because parents went on strike. They are saying we are banning the school because our neighbors went on what? Strike. They are saying we are banning the school because exams were extended. Where are the parents coming in? When the exams were being extended, were the parents consulted? They were not. So we should not always blame parents. I want to say this. Let us ask ourselves, what are the root causes of these incidents in schools? And what are the best solutions that we can take as a country, holistically? Where you have parents sitting here, teachers are sitting here, Minister of Education is sitting here. The stakeholders, others, like Reverend and Mheshimiwa here, they are sitting here. We come up with the final solutions on how we can take on these disasters. There have been so many recommendations. How many of these recommendations have been laid down before parents? Who has ever called parents to sit in a hall and tell them that parents, this is what you're supposed to be doing in schools, 1, 2, 3 things, as far as we are concerned, the sector of the schools. It has not happened. I have been insisting parents must be put on board. Right now, there is investigations going on. Have you ever seen anywhere in the media where they are saying parents' association has been involved? I'm heading the Parents Association. That's key stakeholders. Have you seen anywhere where they are saying Parents Association has been involved in these key findings? It's not there. They are saying that the ministry, the Teacher Service Commission, they are doing those investigations, but they are not saying that the parents are also involved. I demanded for a task force to be formed, a commission to be formed, so that we as stakeholders, boys should be in, madam should be in, my brother here should be here, bishop should be here, should also be there, should be there. In this, we are all working as a team. But when 2 or 3 are sitting and working these things out and they are leaving the key stakeholders out, then you come and blame parents. Where are parents going wrong?
Bishop, just a minute, Bishop. I'm looking at the moral compass, because at the end of the day, just like Silas has mentioned, is that it's everybody has to do his or her own work. I do remember we had pastoral classes, we had counseling back then, and actually, to be honest, in the 90s, there aren't as much as unrest as we are witnessing now. You didn't have any school working out. Yeah, we had strikes, yes, but now we have a new crop of styles of airing their grievances. Just like Silas is mentioning, this call has worked out. The next brother school, the sister school next, it becomes more or less like they are,
trend.
Yeah, like a trend, like they are WhatsApping each other what's happening. Where is our moral compass here?
Yeah, first, my condolences to the family that has lost their loved ones, and those who are in hospital recovering. We wish them a quick recovery. We also want to sympathize with the parents, the trauma that they are going through right now. I remember the worst case scenario, those parents who were driving to the school to go and see whether their daughter is alive or has been affected, just to end up in a road accident, and one is lost and another one is in hospital. So our sympathies to them. We have enough people here who will deal with the issue of Ministry of Education structures and all that. Let me deal with the spiritual aspect. What is happening, it is not normal. You look at the trend of what is happening, and then you ask yourself, yes, these learners could be aggrieved of something. But then why is it that the solution, the only solution they come up with in all these schools, it is fire? It is important for parents to understand this and hear very well. Schools have become a very easy place of initiation of cults, and our learners are being initiated into these things. If there is a problem in school, why not like just walking out? Why not like just maybe fighting for something? Why has it to be fire? And why has it to be waiting until your colleagues are sleeping and you target the dormitory? This is not just a normal thing. And I would want to point out to parents a few things that they can look at, and even the teachers, in the learners. There are signs that you can look at and you can realize that there is something is happening in this child. For example, if you see your child with a sudden change of behavior, they are not behaving the way they used to behave. That is a call for you to begin to look at your child and ask, why this change? Why this change? You will realize there is a change even in their communication, even in the language. You remember there is a time when the Sheng came. The Sheng language was to confuse the parents so that they don't understand what they are talking. And it is happening even now. These children who are initiated in these things, their language will change. They can talk where you are and you will not understand what they are saying, but they are doing something. You will find some of them will try to isolate themselves from help and from close people. For example, you'll find a child in the house who has been sitting in the sitting room with everybody, but suddenly you find this child now, he wants to spend time alone in the bedroom. He doesn't want to sit with people. Even eating, they will come and get their food and go back to the bedroom. They're isolating themselves because they know when they mingle so much with people, it is very easy to identify that there are some changes in their lives. Parents, take note of what I'm telling you. These things are not normal. Why killing? Why fire that is targeted to kill? You know, a normal person cannot kill one another. a normal person and is thinking normal cannot target to kill, and especially a colleague, you know, we're schooling together, is a desk mate, is a classmate and all that. It is not normal. They become very highly secretive. And sometimes you see these children coming back after school, and you see them with unexplained cash money. Children can go and do a shopping. This is not somebody who is working, is in school. And the kind of pocket money you give them, you know what it can do. When you see your child begin to come in with he's bought expensive clothes, expensive shoes and all that. That is the time as a parent you begin to ask yourself, where is this money coming from? This is not normal. There are things like even tattoos. You'll find them with tattoos that are hidden. They don't want anybody to know. Those are the areas of initiation. Parents, be vigilant. What is happening then, I can tell you, it is not normal. It has a lot of spiritual aspect in it. It is not normal. As I said, I am normal right now. If somebody asks me to kill you, I will think twice because I'm normal and I'm sober. It is only...
Allow me to say this before I can give Mr. Boas.
Yes.
I think, looking at us, maybe the two of you, but us here sitting here before you, we are old people. We are not young people. I left school in 1986, when I finished high school. And I was in school for 6 years. I'm asking myself, for those 6 years, I never saw a fire in a school. I never saw a building collapsing. I never saw even a child just taking a stick and hitting another one so hard like that. Let us ask ourselves, what has become of the schools of today? What's the reason? And that's why I'm saying that let us not always blame parents. There are so many incidents. Let us talk about other. You're only talking about fires. You saw a school collapse in Kibera, and the whole building came down, and suppressed children, killed a number of children there. You saw that happen. You have seen school buses crashing with the school children. You have seen this happening. You have seen children sink in toilets in schools. Okay? You have seen children fighting and stabbing each other in schools. So let us not just look at the fire alone. Let us look at this holistically, that what can we do to end these incidents in schools? And I have said here, as much as the bishop has talked about the cults and whatever coming in schools, you know, there are some things, when it comes to religion, my religion is better than his, is better than yours. Because religion is the opium of the mind. What you take in the mind about the religion is what you believe in. Let us go head on. What is it that has happened? Where are the failures? What are the challenges? And what are we going to do to have schools safe? Let us ask ourselves. The schools have the safety policy manual, which was put in place.
But unfortunately, it's not being used, and that is why I mentioned some of these things.
Give me time. The policy is there. She's having the constitution here. She's speaking. Look at the constitution. When you are talking about school safety policy, where is it? Is it working? Whom do we need to ask that one? Do we ask parents? Do the parents have the school policy manual at home? They don't have that one. Just a minute. So, what are we saying? We are here to find a solution. Let us focus on the solution. What are we supposed to do as a team, even to advise the government and the Ministry of Education, the Teacher Service Commission, the heads of schools, and the parents on how we can work as a team to save our children?
He hijacked my time.
To just wrap up.
You know, I discuss things soberly. He hijacked my time. That is why I kept quiet when he started talking. But I had not finished. You remember when I started, I said, I want to leave the policy issues to them because they're educationists. And that means it includes the safety measures he's talking about and all that and all that. But you cannot ignore what I'm saying. You cannot ignore the point I'm bringing out. And I'm not saying it is the only problem. I'm saying it includes all this we are discussing here. And my point could be right, just as his is right. But from where I sit, and I'm not condemning parents. In fact, there are parents who have raised their children in a very good way, very good way. But then you will have to understand that these children are associating with other children outside there. And will not be everywhere. And so you cannot blame a parent of upbringing, because every parent wishes well their children. They want their children to be good and to have good morals outside there. I am saying, once our children are out of our hands and they're outside there, you might not understand what they're doing. You might not know who they're associating with.
Okay.
That is the point.
Ben,
Yeah, very quickly.
kindly allow me to interject on the issue of parents, because we are all parents. Now, there's something very interesting about children in school, that parents cannot assume they know their children too well. It can never happen.
That's right.
Children wear different hats. When they meet their teachers, their faces will be different. When they meet their parents, their faces will be different. There are even parents whose children are lesbians, but they're not aware. There are parents whose children are gays, they're not aware. But you'll find teachers have a way of knowing this. And when they bring sometimes parents on board, there's some parents who come in to defend their children. My child cannot do that, not my child. Sometimes there are also children who even drink in school. But when you call parents, they say, no, my child cannot smoke, my child cannot drink, my child cannot take bang.
True.
But the teachers know, and they have a way of, helping parents, help the children become better. But when it comes to parenthood, I dare say that the diversity in parenthood, we cannot say that there's one single way of raising up children. The parents who raise their children in different ways. The parents who raise their children in such a way that whatever you say is right. Okay. So they support their children. Yeah. So we must say that we cannot wish away the tripartite relationship of the child, of the parents, and the school. And I want to give an example of where a child in one of the universities, the parent kept paying fees, the child was taking low. Then, come graduation time, the parent is coming to yell at the university that I cannot see my child on the list and all that, and began throwing words at lecturers and all that. Okay. Then she was told, first of all, sit, we do an investigation. The child had dropped out of university and was eating the money. The parent was not aware. Okay. So I want to say that children wear different faces, and also we cannot also the parent is the first teacher. The parent is the first teacher of the child. Yeah. And once, just as he has said, Bishop has said, when your child leaves your house, you do not know who he is meeting, and sometimes even what you're training your child, the child can unlearn through peer influence. Okay. Because you're not always with the child, you don't know what they're watching on Tandao, you don't know whom they're talking to, you don't know the actions they're taking, and all that. All so we must use also teachers to help us guide our children, because at the end of the day, a parent feels good when the children are successful in life and living just like any other normal citizen and not in jail.
Because of the interest of time, Boaz, do you believe the current education reforms have sufficiently addressed learner welfare, and we are not putting so much pressure on the young ones?
Thank you, Ben. Indeed, when discussing these matters, it is always important to know that we are dealing with the children who are in this environment created by ourselves. Children remain children, and children learn not based on what you tell them, based on what they see you do, they hear you say, they see how you operate. And so if it is discipline, if they see that the parent or whoever is also not disciplined, even the leadership, they'll copy that. And so I think, Bishop, your angle is very, very, very well catered for within this. It is a solution pathway. I thought you'd be even talking about also the drugs issues coming into our schools, which is unfortunately happening even from primary school to the universities and TVETs. And so I'm saying these children are just victims of the rot that we, the adults, have created. And so the way then we approach it should not be the way a carpenter approaches issues with the hammer and you just hit the nail. I would say that would not be the approach. I would say we first must understand why this behavior. And as you put it, the reforms that have been in place have been attempts to cure some of these maladies. The narration you gave, starting from the 1991 Kizitos and Kizitos up to now, the Utumishi cases, but just before Utumishi we had the Hillside and Arusha, 21 little boys lost their lives. The kind of the reports that have been produced from those unfortunate happenings are such that the recommendations are so similar as the Limubora and the Kenya Human Rights Commission. Our analysis, just looking at those reports, we looked at the Bombolulu and the Changule. We said the only difference is the date when they are written and the name of the school affected. Why should we be repeating ourselves? So my brother, the president of the National Parents Association, is my president because I'm a parent. I say it is, I think creating other task forces just by time, because Kenya is full of clear rules, first starting with the Constitution. Starting with our Constitution, protection of the right of the child, the best interest of the child, Article 53, Article 43, assuring them of their right to education. And indeed, even the TSC Act, TSC establishment 237, all those gives the TSC the wherewithal and the instruments to ensure that they deal with teachers and infuse this training on safety. Basic Education Act, very clear, Section 28 tells the CS whenever he's asleep or awake, the reason why he's on the job is to enforce Section 28 of that Act. They ensure that every child is in school, that when they are in school, they are safe, that when they are also in school, they are reading quality education. So those three parameters. So why these things are very important is because there are some people sleeping on the job. And my brother, we normally have caucus and instead, I'm one of those who have called for Migos Ogamba to step aside.
And you still hold that?
I hold that. Why?
Yeah.
In Russia, 2 years ago, up to now, parents are still agonizing. What really happened? They don't know. They don't know. Just recently, an inquest was say the DCI and its investigation came to a conclusion they could not ascertain. You see the kind of challenges that then you're having. So that inquest, even as it's going on, it is also not going on very well because the prosecutor involved, sorry, I don't want to discuss this, but when you see that his brief is more of exonerating the government and the school already and trying to lump the criminality on the children, that is where I come in the defense of these children. Why? It is us who should have been acting and acting appropriately, not waiting until a fire after fire. If 2 years after the whole Russia thing, nobody can tell what happened. The rapid, the firefighting approach that the CS did, that now sending people to go and check, his officers to go and check how the schools are compliant with the safety rules. The safety manual had been in place for well over 5 years, 2018 up to the 2024. And then you're sending them to go and check the list of the 16 schools that were said they are not compliant. They still continued without any remedy. Impunity at its top. Who is failing on the job? He must step aside. That is my position as Kenya Human Rights Commission, as a Limo Bora. We are saying we are tired of crying and mourning our children. When children go to school, the parents should be happy. Doctor, just cool down. Just cool down. You've been having a lot of chance. Please, please, just cool down. When you're raising your hand, it's like I'm not talking sense. No. You've been a senator. You know the rules of debate. You've been a senator. So please, just be orderly. He'll give you the chance. What I'm saying is the systemic failure, failing to adhere to the regulations and the rules, coming only after to tell us what is being done. And the investigation is a total, I think a total disaster. One day you give us this bit, another bit, lesbians, exam change, whatever it is. But when you look at the structure, you say, but who even authorized that they should spend here? You see that the congestion in that, who admitted more numbers than are supposed to be there? Was there, can we get the report and the file of that school on who was visiting that school and ticking that it is compliant? This is a school who is surrounded by security apparatus. Well, our children are crying in distress at midnight, only 3:30 a.m. Somebody appears, and you're blaming this on the children. It is failure on the system. They must take the responsibility. They must bite the bullet. In decent societies, when so many children are dying in your hand, please just say, I think Migos is a lawyer. He's a lawyer like me. He's a lawyer. Let him just step aside. He can go and practice. For him, he can go and practice. Somebody who is serious and who wants to do something serious to protect his children should step in. And those children, as they are, I don't think there's a child who leaves their home that I'm going to kill other children. I've never come across that. I've never seen that. Even the parents, you know, you can also be blaming the parents a lot more. First, all these rules that we are talking about, the law, there's got no parenting manual. Doesn't exist. It is on the basis of this. So I'm just trying to put it in context. Why that is important is we should be able to apply ourselves so that only what is good. Some of these children are adventurous. The system that is put in place, the disciplinary procedures, the safety committee in school with the two teachers involved, with the head teacher, the chief principal, or HOI in case of those other institutions, where you also have the parents getting involved, where you have the students themselves so that their voice can be heard. Are they working? Are they in constant consultation, or they're just established as a tick, a box, and after that we forget? So let us be very clear. Please, if the system has failed these learners, we should not be always blaming them. Obu Hatsa, my president, said, he started asking, all those years, how come there are not so many fires? The exams were also still there, and the pressures were still there. The society has also evolved that we must be aligned to the fact that technology could be destroying more than it's helping. But that's why the teachers, I know the teachers are well trained and capable of handling these situations. Can we ensure that everybody handles their responsibilities appropriately, not waiting until then they start throwing us into disarray, following all kinds of channels? Two, that each and every officer who is meant to be at Jogo, because nowadays it is the quality and standards of quality assurance officers who are going on there to check what is happening. I think they're still combining lots of responsibility. That's why they're not doing a good job. Why hasn't the CS operationalized Section 64 of the Basic Education Act to establish that Education Standards and Quality Assurance Council more than 13 years later? Because if you see, that is this council whose responsibility, number one, is to ensure that there's faithful and adherence to the regulations and guidelines. If this council, which is supposed to be doing that, is not established, then you come here and we start blaming these learners. The learners will be children. Some of them didn't even know, you never even know how many schools where even smoking takes place among the boys, and they hide. Then all of a sudden there's a fire starting. It's only that it is put out quickly. These accidents will continue to be there if we do not take remedial action now and wake up each and everybody to take their rightful responsibility seriously.
And of course, the government did come out and talk about we really need to implement this. They went school by school, you know,
then I'll tell you, the 16 schools that they told after Russia, no action was taken after that.
They're still operating.
Cool down temperatures, and then we forget we are waiting for another disaster. We are waiting for more statistics. It's unfortunate.
All right, Doc, just a minute. We want to tie this with Dr. Hassan. There's something that has been identified by Obuhatsa and also by Bishop, that guidance and counseling systems have collapsed in many institutions. Let's be very honest. During our time, we didn't have this, but we are also looking at the gaps that exist. Our parents are delegating their parenting responsibility, and Obuhatsa will also weigh in on this, are delegating their parenting to maybe people who help them at home, or even to the digital era. There is that disconnect, Dr.
Yeah, I think all has been said, and my brother has demystified the big challenge in the whole system. Because when an incident occurs, we often talk about general things that do not hold any ground at that particular time. It's not time to talk about parent at the moment. It's not time to talk about other entities. We need to talk about the incident. And this particular incident has had its own way of viewing it. In that, first, we must understand one thing. This institution we are talking about, before we bring on board parents or other stakeholders, who is responsible for this institution? The people who manage that institution, how is it structured? What is the architect of that institution? For example, when we were in high school, our doors were never closed. And in any case, if you want to protect children from disaster, because disaster sometimes occurs without our choice, could be even electrical disaster. But the issue is the perimeter walls or the fences are the control measures, but the students cannot be confined in a room. And that has not happened. This is a 3-story building, which I have never seen in an institution of that magnitude, where children are being accommodated in story buildings. Children, they can go and learn there, depending on their ages, because there are those ones who can learn on the ground floor, there are those ones who climb up there. But even when you go to modern society, Western countries, you will not find a school which is raised, because it doesn't work like that. These teenagers now, when you come to their developmental nature, is that they grow very fast. They grow in psychologically, they grow physically, and they grow emotionally. And in their emotional growth, this is influenced by peers. And that's why we say, at every one point, a child, before he goes to exam, he must be seen by a therapist. After finishing exams, they must be seen by a therapist. When they go home, parents must ask and seek therapy support, because they may not understand these children, the way they behave, as he mentioned earlier on, because the behavior of a child is determined by the environment in which he lives in. You know, the environment in which this child lives in is a school. They rarely interact with us. Holidays, when they come, the only thing that is in their mind is to take them out. They want to go and visit somewhere. They want to have a bash. You know, these are the things they talk about. Do we actually talk about how these children grow psychologically? How do they grow emotionally? What behavioral changes have they experienced while they were with their peers? So these are the fundamental things that we need to look at. Then there are no proper structures on the child growth and their mental well-being in any of our institutions in this country. It is not even there. We are pushing now. We are pushing now as mental health experts. We are pushing now as mental health experts that it is mandatory to have therapeutic centers within institutions, and every person who is exposed to such trauma must go through what is called a debriefing or psychological first aid before they even end up in experts like us. And therefore, when you look at the way even we address, there are police officers, there were bystanders, people who responded to that event, who saw those children, corpse or bodies. They were traumatized. There are people there are parents who are severely traumatized. You remember the parent who opened his shirt and he was screaming? Who has even looked at the psychological well-being of that parent? He might commit suicide. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because these are things that fundamentally needs to be put in place. But the question is, where is this failure coming from? People must bite the bullet, as he has said it.
That's right.
It is the institution. We don't want to see anyone in that institution. Precisely, they shouldn't be transferred. They should be. I have written on the article, I have told you.
Yes.
And I said, moving people from one place to another or transferring them is not a problem. It's solving. It's not a problem solving. So for teachers or management of institutions to understand that the matters before them is seriously grieve and it's something that needs to be taken serious action, they should all be sent home.
Very
And
valid
of course-
questions.
And of course, it is something that needs to be addressed. If we don't address that, we remain counting our statistics.
And actually,
Yeah.
the Utumishi one raises a lot of concerns being managed by the Kenya,
Exactly.
by the Kenya police.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
the response time.
Exactly. Have you seen
and
parents?
even the security measures.
Ben, have you seen parents?
The IG,
Yeah.
Deputy IG of Police.
But,
is a board chair.
The dissolved board, he was the chair.
so
it's a
we
dereliction of
we have actually a problem, and lack of attitudes that we have, that we don't care. That don't care attitude
Yeah, okay.
in every part of our institutions. Who cares if children die? Nobody cares unless it is your child.
Yeah.
That's when the trauma hits you hard.
Okay, thank you.
And also, the school knew from the preliminary investigations that happened there that there are some teachers who knew exactly what was happening. There was unrest, but they didn't communicate.
So I'll talk about if the teachers knew, yeah. But there's a gap I'm seeing also in our schools that when it comes to character development and molding, I think that is something that is missing in our school. In as much as teachers have a duty to teach children, to develop them, the issue of character molding must be also factored in. And when you're talking about the issue of character molding, we cannot wish away the role of religion, the role that religion plays in a child's upbringing. Like when the president talked about madrasa, and he tell us about madrasa and tuksi being integrated formally in our education system, I think that can also help in character molding and development. So what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to put across is that schools need to look for a mechanism of ensuring that the chaplaincy role is there in every school, for the sake of ensuring that even as the children are learning, they are also developing psychologically in terms of spirituality. That is very important, because I don't think there is any religion that would actually condone what the children did. So the issue of character development is important. And I dare repeat that research is very important. They need to do formative research so that we get to know why the unrest in schools. And once we know why the unrest in schools, then how can this be addressed? Formative research is very important so that it can really give us an opening.
But Senator,
what is
I'm
happening.
quite sure, even after the Endarasha one, we had actually the working group that went to all the schools. So it's not that we do not know exactly what is cooking.
Now the
what is
implementation of the findings.
Yes.
Implementation is very important. When formative research tells us this is what is happening on the ground, then what are the intervention measures? Then after the intervention measures, an evaluative kind of research can be done to see whether we succeeded or not succeeded. Then a report is also done. And also I need to say, the parents said very well, talked about parents associations. Parents associations are very important. Even when a research is being done, parents must be involved so that they get to know how these issues can be resolved. Remember, a child can never succeed without the teachers, the parent and himself. The tripartite relationship must really unite and ensure that the child is a success.
I'm being informed that
we must say one statement.
Allow me to give you 10 seconds each.
Only
so
one
that we may-
statement
Yeah.
to Dr. here, Senator. If research needs to be done on issues related to management of education, let's do research on whether the previous research recommendations have been
Implemented.
Yes.
Because I believe that we
don't
cannot
need more
agree that
information.
we have issues
There are no
of
gaps in information.
I'm informed that we are running out of time, so allow me to give you 10 seconds each. And I will begin with Obuhatsa.
I'll be very brief
Yes.
because of time. If any Kenyan has listened to what my brother Boaz has said is so touching. It's so touching that we have to examine ourselves. Because parents take children to school to learn, and they entrust the children in the hands of the teachers, the school administration. So when the children are within the school compound, they are in the hands of the administration. Whatever happens to the students, as I said, the first person to be held responsible is the school administration. And no, let me be very specific. I said in the beginning, when that incident happened in Utumisi, I asked the government to dissolve the school management board and hold them responsible. Because the board management is one that runs a school. Whether it's a principal or not, the principal sits in the board management as a secretary.
Okay.
The rules that are passed in schools, even in capitation funds or whatever, is the board management. And I'm still asking that the CS should follow. Any school that has been banned between 2018 and up to now, and there's a board chairman sitting in that school who has been on that board for that time, those boards should be dissolved. Secondly, let teachers learn to listen to the learners. You know, sometimes teachers look at the children and they just despise them like that. You heard them say that, it was even heard, you also heard, that children, when these students went and reported the teachers that the fire, there's a problem. But the teachers ignored them. What does this mean? The teachers have the code of conduct from the teachers have to come in how to handle their duties. So the teachers should learn to listen to the children.
All right.
Thirdly, the president has been insisting on national values. We have to learn as parents and as a country on how to instill national values in our children. The other thing quickly, schools must embrace alumni bodies. I come from a school where there's a very strong, even Boaz knows this, and he also has a very strong alumni body in their school. We go to schools and talk to our students as alumni. Leave about the parents.
Okay.
We got in the students that when you are here, this and this happened. And when you are here, we want this to happen quickly, alumni bodies. The other thing is, our schools lack physical planning. There's no school that has any physical what? You find a dormitory here, there's a toilet, there's a church,
There's a kitchen.
okay, and there's a new gate.
All right.
Why is the school putting up a gate of 100 million when the children are sleeping in those stuffy conditions? You see that? Physical planning. Finally, the Ministry of Education must accept to work with parents. Must accept. And the Ministry of Education must embrace National Parents Association because it has been enacted in the Education Act 2013, Section 55(2), giving you powers to enlighten parents, to engage and enlighten the parents on issues that are touching the children's what? Education issues. Right now when they are doing this research and sending the people in schools, where are the parents in this? We should be there, seeing for ourselves, saying that this dormitory was 40 kilometers high. It must come down.
All right, Abu Hassan. Thank you. Bishop?
Thank you, Ben. You know, it is only your profession that is a bit unfortunate. That, you know, you cannot have a court as a scarecrow on the seat working, and yet you left office 1 week ago. Yeah. So you have to be there in the yes. and all that. But if you go to these government offices and schools, you'll find a scarecrow there in a form of a court. And this person has never stepped in that office for 1 week. So you see the court you think is around, they are not there. So we have issues of people who are sleeping on their jobs. And I want to agree with the Senator, the issue of chaplains and counselors is very important in schools. They should think about it seriously. And I want to agree also with my brother Boaz there. This case, it is said it was reported by some children who said something is about to happen. Something is happening. Who did they tell? Who did they talk to? And what did they do? So do you want to tell us we should continue having these people in school? In that school? Those people heads should roll. I am looking for a time when we will have a Minister of Education like the time of Matiang'i.
Okay.
Because we could have
really learning
and follow them.
Yeah, all right, allow me just to give 10
Thank
seconds.
you, Ben,
for,
and thanks to the panelists. And sorry to Kenyans. We failed these children.
Yeah.
Wish we could do more. We shouldn't fail more others. The laws, the regulations, everything is in place. But documents in place and the practice being at variance does not help us. This leads us to have more of these children whom we are burying each and every other day unnecessarily. So for now, the investigations going on, also let's not have botched investigation where like the Ndarasha Hill Academy, you are not able to understand what really happened. You now take an inquest taking an year, and you still not even know whether you'll be...
Actually, the Russia is 2 years, September.
Yeah, but the inquest began a year ago.
Yeah.
So the inquest is still taking an year. But you see, as I speak now, there are even some two parents who have been told you pull out of that. But these kind of things which are being done in this republic ultra-vires the national values and principles of governance. I think that you're the ones who were mentioning this. It is important that we abide by these rules. By the way, there's no society that progresses if we do not respect our own rules. Okay. Christians, if you don't respect the Bible, or Muslims, if you don't respect the Quran, you know, all these things. So as a country, we must be bound by the rule of law. That is why we keep on churning this out. But if they're not being implemented, consequential action should be taken against those who are sleeping on the job.
Yes,
and I am fully in tune with Bishop.
All right, Boaz, thank you so much. Boaz Waruku, who is an advisor, Elimu Bora Working Group. Just next to her, we have a Honorable Senator and Dr. Gertrude Musuruve, who is not only a former senator, but also a researcher and also a university lecturer at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and another university lecturer, doctor, counseling psychologist, and also political analyst, Dr. Harun Isaac Hassan. Just next to him, we have Silas David Obuhatsa, who is the national president or national chairperson of the Parents Association. And just next to me, we have Bishop Hudson Ndenda, who is a national chairperson or chairman of the Church and Clergy Association of Kenya. We have been putting things into perspective. This is a conversation that we must continue, because just like they said, accountability, where were the watchmen? In an institution that is governed and also run by the National Police Service, the heads need to roll. That's why we put a cap on the first conversation. On the second conversation, we are looking at eye health in Kenya. I will be hosting Dr. Vivian Ongore and Samson Waweru from the Kenya Society for the Blind. We are having issues with our sight. And if, look at this panel. We are 6 people and 4 majority. And the doc and Senator has left hers. She has spectacles as well. We are 4 guys with spectacles because of issues of our eyes. We will fix that when we come back. Thank you so much. Then ladies and gentlemen, shukran sana for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So much for meeting you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back.